What's going on, everybody? It's me, it's the OG, it's the original gamer Stevie Stroh, and we're back for another round of programming in BASIC. And before I go on to another chapter, I thought this would be a good opportunity to write a custom program that's going to apply many of the concepts that we've already learned, just do something. So I thought I'd make a program that is going to do random graphics, change random color modes, and do things like that. So let's just begin. Let's start making a program. I kind of know what I want to do, but I'm going to be thinking out loud as I do this. And so let's just get started.
This is Lee Patterson, author of Bouncy Ball, and you're watching the original gamer Stevie Stroh.
So we're going to make a brand new program starting on line 10. So we're going to say rem. Program to illustrate graphics that we've learned so far. Okay, now I want to go ahead and start off with a title screen. So how about we do that? And I'm going to do the data and read statements that we learned a long time ago. So 20, I'm going to say data graphics demo, comma, by, comma, OG Stevie Stroh, comma, copyright 2017, comma, quote, licensed to, comma, quote, Tandy Corporation. Okay, which is a lie, right? But who cares, right? So how many data things do I have here? Graphics demo by OG Stevie Stroh, copyright 2017, licensed to Tandy Corporation. So that's 6. Okay. So we're gonna go to line 30 for T equals 1 to 6. 40. Read T strings, which is going to read in some text. Okay. 40. Read T string. Okay. L equals len T strings, and then the position is going to be, so there's 32 columns, so it's 0 through 31. 15 is about dead center, so the position is going to be 15 minus left parentheses integer of L int L divided by 2, if I'm doing this right. Integer L divided by 2, la la. There's 6 lines out of 16, so that means 10. So we gotta go down 5. What's 5 times 32? 160. Okay. Okay, so then let's list this out. I'm thinking out loud here right now. I'm going to explain what I'm doing. So the first thing I did is I did a remark. Second thing I did is I have some data that has the title screen. Graphics demo by OG Stevie Stroh, copyright 2017, licensed to Tandy Corporation. So in this data statement, I've got 1, 2, Stevie Stroh is 3, copyright is 4, licensed to Tandy is 5, Tandy is 6. So I've got 6 pieces of string I want to read in. So I'm going to do a loop that says for T equals 1 to 6. I'm going to read in the string. I'm going to figure out the length of the string. How long is this? I'm then going to take position 15, which is roughly dead center, and then I'm going to subtract half the length of the word over and print it at that position. And then so what I'm doing here is I'm saying the position is 15 minus the length of half of the length, which is L divided by 2. And I'm using int, making it an integer, making it a round number, so it's not like a 1.5, because you really can't print at partial locations. So this is gonna, well, we're gonna see how that goes. So now line 50 is gonna say print at boo 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 doo boo bow bow. I want to start at location 160. So it is 5 times 32. I agreed was 160. So So print at, how about we do this? Print at t plus 1 times 5 plus position, comma, t string 60 next t. Not sure how well this is going to work. Let's see. Okay, I think I screwed that one up. Print at I screwed that one up big time. Line 5 should be CLS. So line 5 is clear the screen. Let's run it. Okay. No. I screwed up the logic here big time. So print at print at 32 times t plus 1. This has got to be a double parentheses, so it's t plus 1 plus 5. Okay. No, I want to do this. Okay, so it's print at, I want to start 5 lines down, so it's going to be 32 32 times t plus 1 plus the offset position t string. Let's see how that runs. There we go. Boom. Graphics demo by OG Stevie Stroh, copyright 2017, licensed to Tandy Corporation. I think I want to go more than 5 lines down. So, let's edit line 50. And instead of t plus 1, you see we're going to do t plus 5. We only went 1 line down. Let's run this again. Graphics demo. Okay, so now I got to do that edit 50. I got to change that to a 4. So t plus 1 is 4, starting on line 5, and then boom. Okay, so here we go. I've got a perfectly centered screen here. Graphics demo by OG Stevie Stroh, copyright 2017, licensed to Tandy Corporation. So this is my little title screen. How did I make this title screen? Not a lot of code right now. Line 5 cleared the screen. Line 10, line 10 we don't even need. Let's get rid of line 5. Let's just make line 10 CLS. We kind of know what this thing's doing. So 10 says CLS. Line 20 has got data statements. So I've got, and because these are strings, I wrapped them in quotes. So I've got graphics demo, comma, by, comma, OG Stevie Stroh, comma, copyright 2017, comma, license to, comma, Tandy Corporation. So I've got 6 pieces of string data in a data statement that we learned a long time ago when we were doing read. And so I'm now going to count to 6 for t equals 1 to 6. Read t strings. Determine the length of t strings. How long is each of these phrases? And now I want to figure out how to position it on the screen. There's 32 columns from 0 to 31. 15 is roughly dead center because it's an even number. You can't be dead center. So then what I just said is take that middle position of 15 and then subtract half of the length. So if it was a 10 character word, it would go 5 to the left. When you print there, that should center it. So L is the length, and then P becomes the relative position on where to print this based on how long each of these pieces of data, of these text datas are. And now I'm printing it on the screen. And so basically I said start going 5 lines down. So multiply 32 times 5 because t starts at 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. So 32 times 5 is 160. Position 160 is roughly 5 lines down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to start printing somewhere right around here. As t becomes 2, then it becomes 32 times 6, which would be what's 160 plus 32? 192, right? So 224. And so it would continue to print this down. And actually, I'm kind of impressed with that. Actually, I'm extremely impressed with that, but I'm easily impressed. So here's my title screen. All right. So Now, that's the title screen. So that's it. So 5, we're going to say rem, graphics demo. Graphics demo, demo, title, screen. All right, now here's our main loop. So type on line 95, we're going to say rem, main loop, random GFX. GRFX. Okay, so what have we learned how to do? We've learned how to do PSET, which is to set a pixel in one of 8 colors. We've learned how to do a line between 2 positions, and we've learned that we can make this line a box, and we've learned that we can make this line a solid box. So we've got 3 options. We can set a pixel, we can draw a line of a particular color, we can draw an empty box, we can draw a solid box. So we have 3 choices, and we also have different screen modes as well. So line 100, we're gonna make our random numbers. So we're gonna say so our screen mode equals random 2 minus 1. So if I pick 1, it'll be 1. If I pick 2, it'll be 1. If I pick 1, it'll be 0. So screen mode, comma, screen color equals random 2 minus 1. This gives me my random screen modes. This gives me my random colors. Okay, let's do this. 110. PM for P mode equals random 5 minus 1. This will give me P mode 0 through 4. Okay, line 20. Okay, 4 color equals random 9 minus 1, colon, background color equals random 9 minus 1. Because technically our colors are 0 through 8. Those are our 9 colors. So we're going to pick a random screen mode. We are going to pick a random screen mode, meaning either text or graphics, and then a random palette choice, meaning either low color palettes or high color palettes. We're going to pick a random P mode. We're going to pick a random foreground color. We're going to pick a random background color. So these things are going to be decided over and over again in a main loop. But how do I decide when I want to put something on the screen? So line 130 is going to say GD for graphics decision equals random 100. Now, line 140, okay. If GD equals 10, then go sub 1000. Okay, 150. And so what are my choices here? I can set a pixel. That's 1 choice. Straight line, 2 choice. Box, 3 choice. Solid box, 4. Okay. So if GD, and then I also have 4 screen mode options. Or just changing the screen. Okay, so I got 4 graphics options. That's 4 things. I've got a P mode option, that's 5. I've got a screen option, that's 6. Okay, so if GD equals 20, then go sub 2000. 160. If GD equals 30, then go sub 3000. Did I say it was 6? 170. If GD equals 40, then go sub 4000. 180. If GD equals 50, then go sub 5000. Notice these are easy numbers to remember. 190. If GD equals 60, then go sub 6000. And then 200 is just going to go back to 100, which is my main loop. So what's going to happen is this thing's going to keep going around in a circle. Every time it goes around in a circle, it's going to pick a random screen mode number, a random screen color number. It's going to pick a random P mode number. It's going to pick foreground color, background color, and then it is then going to choose when to decide. So it's going to pick a number between 1 and 100 over and over again. If it picks 10, then I'm going to go to 1000. So 1000 is going to say rem PSET random pixel. Oh, you know what else I forgot to do? I forgot to pick the X and Y coordinates. I need to pick 2 sets of X and Y coordinates for lines. So we need to do that too. So we're going to do line 135. We're going to say x1 equals random 256 minus 1, x2 equals random 256 minus 1, y1 equals random 192 minus 1, y2 equals random 192 minus 1. Told you I'm thinking out loud here. Okay, so in my program here, I'm trying to scroll back with my mouse. That doesn't seem to be working very good. Actually, I want to try something real quick. When I do a list, okay, here's what I couldn't figure out before, and I actually went back to one of my old videos, and Curtis Boyle left me a comment. It was easier to find that than actually look it up in the book. But on the color computer, when you were listing your program, and or listing a directory off of a disk, the only way to pause a screen was to hold down the Shift key and then press the @ key on your keyboard. So it was Shift @ Now, in on a modern computer keyboard, and because I'm doing VCC on a real PC, there's no separate @ key. So in VCC, to pause the screen, it's Shift and Alt. I'm actually using the left Alt. So I just paused this. So for t equals 1 to 6, read t, do this. Now how do I then spacebar unpauses again. So we're picking a random screen mode, we're picking a random P mode, we're picking foreground colors, background colors, we're making a decision, we're picking random coordinates. Okay, so line 1010 is going to be PSET x1 comma y1 comma foreground color, whatever that foreground color is. Line 1020 is going to say return. So that one did a random pixel. Okay, on line 2000 is going to be rem, draw straight line. Okay, line 10 is going to say color, foreground color, comma background color. Line 2020 is going to say line x1 comma y1 through x2 comma y2 comma PSET. Line 2030 is going to return. Okay, so line 3000 is going to say rem, draw box. So line 3010 is going to say color, foreground color, comma background color. Okay, line 3020, line x1 comma y1 through x2 comma y2 comma PSET comma B for box. Line 3030 is going to say return. Okay, line 4000, rem, draw box fill. Okay, 410 is going to say color, foreground color, kind of background color. Line 4, and for efficiency, I could have put this in one time when I picked the colors and set the color automatically instead of having to type it in this many times, but too late. 4020 is going to say line x1 comma y1 through x2 comma y2 comma PSET comma BF for background fill. 4030 is going to return. Now line 5000, rem, change P mode. What was my P mode variables? My P mode is PM. And is it just P mode? Is it just P mode, or P mode, comma 1? I don't remember. So 510 P mode PM. Let me just run 510. That didn't give me an error. Okay, so that's fine. Print PM. All right, so 5 is going to change to P mode. So we can actually change P modes, which means the resolutions might change. I guess if we're going to change P modes, we kind of need to change the screens as well to really make that effective. So then 5020 is going to say screen. And what was my screen variables? I don't remember. list, Shift Alt, crap, list. Got to be quick on the draw. My screen modes was SM and SC for colors. Okay. So 5020 is going to say screen. Shoot. No, that's just not going to work. That's just not going to work. Because what if the screen is not what it needs to be? So 5020 is just going to return. And then 6000 is going to be rem change screen mode. And so 6010 is going to say screen mode, comma, screen color. 6020 is going to return. So as I list through this, we start off by setting up our graphics. In our main loop, we choose a random number for screen mode and screen color. We choose a random number for P mode. We choose a random color for foreground color and background color. That's line 20. Matter of fact, I'm going to break right here. And then line 125, I'm just going to say color, foreground color, kind of background color. I'm going to automatically, 125, color, foreground color, kind of background color. I'm going to automatically switch colors. And that way I don't need to have that listed so many damn times. So line 4010 I can get rid of. What else can I get rid of? So when I draw my straight lines, I can get rid of 2010 and 3010. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to get rid of 2010 and 3010. Now, let me just list through this one more time. Shift Alt to pause. So we have rem, set the graphics, clear the screen, print the title screen. Next, main loop. We're going to pick a random screen mode number. We're going to pick a random screen color mode number. We're going to pick a random P mode number. We're going to pick a random foreground color and background color. We're going to automatically set to those two colors. Then we're going to pick a random number for graphics decision between 1 and 100. Then we pick all of our coordinates here, which is our X coordinates. We need two sets of X and Y's in case if it's a line. We only use one if it's a pixel. And then after we've decided that we're going to pick a random number between 1 and 100, we're looking for specific numbers here. So if I pick 10, if I pick exactly 10 out of that 1 to 100, then I'm going to go subroutine 1000, which is going to PSET a random pixel. So I'm going to PSET the X, Y, and foreground color that I chose randomly. If I choose 20, I'm going to go sub 2000, which is going to draw a straight line. And from here in 2000, I then say line X1, Y1 to X2, Y2, comma, PSET. When you just do PSET, it's going to do it based on whatever color was chosen. Because we're always choosing in a loop a random color for foreground and background, we will be always choosing those colors and setting those colors. Those colors are only going to apply when we go to draw the line. The line will remember whatever the last time a foreground color was set, and we'll draw it in that mode there. Then it goes back. If we choose 30 out of 100, we're going to go sub 3000, which is going to draw a box, again, based on X1, comma, Y1 to X2, comma, Y2, comma, PSET, comma, B, which boxes it in, returns. BF is a box fill. Line 5000 is going to change to P mode, which is going to change us between black and white and color modes randomly. And then line 6000, if we pick 60 out of 100, is going to change to screen mode. So we're going to randomly change between text modes and graphics modes and P modes. And so the screen's going to just be like having a freaking seizure from time to time. If this works, I'm wondering, am I going to get a function call or syntax error in here somewhere? So let's run this and find out. Syntax error in 100. Edit 100. You can't put a comma between things, so C to change, colon. All right, and let's try this again. Graphics demo by OG Stevie Stroh. It has not picked a P mode yet, so right now we're just seeing this. I should probably I need to probably expand the range to have it change P modes. It hasn't chosen a P mode yet. Wow. Have I screwed up here?
At GSoft, We make games for the TRS-80 color computer, TRS-80 MC10, and Dragon computers. Our basic games cover the range of genres from arcade, to text adventures, to simulations, to 3D dungeon crawls. This is our latest puzzle game from Japan, Fruit Panic. So come on and drop by our website and download our latest games.
Alright, I don't know what the heck happened, but something funky happened. I must have hit a key and I stopped recording God knows when in the middle of this, and so I'm gonna have to go back through and explain some of the things I did that didn't get recorded and show you the final program. So let's list this thing out in little chunks here. So we're gonna list 0 through 90. Okay, here's the first part of the program, and I've actually added one more line of text into my data statement here because I realized that as we go through this program, I want to keep adding on to the program, so I want to be able to track the versions. So line 5 just says REM graphics demo. Line 10 CLS clears the screen. Line 20 has got 7 pieces of string data in a data statement that we're going to read. So I've got graphics demo, version 1.0, that's new. I inserted that by OG Stevie Stroh, copyright 2017, license to Tandy Corporation. And now line 30 I changed to for t equals 127, and now that's going to read in the 7 lines of text data that are in my data statement. Line 40 reads in the text, figures out the length of each piece of string data, takes the number 15, which is screen position center, and subtracts that by half the length of the words, so the words are perfectly centered on the screen. It calculates that number to know how to do it. Line 50 then runs a formula that says we want to start by going 5 lines down. So t plus 4 is 5, and then we want to multiply that by 32 because there's 32 columns per screen. So this is going to move it down starting exactly at line 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to start printing right here, somewhere dead center, and then continue down the middle to print out my little title screen. It's going to do this 7 times. Now in line 70, I realized I had to stick this one in here because when I first enabled graphics modes, they were not cleared, so we saw a bunch of garbage on the screen. Because what happens is that the graphic memory is just part of memory. So when you switch to your P mode and to your screen mode to visualize and view the graphic screen, if you hadn't cleared that screen, you're going to see a bunch of random data that just happened to be in your computer's memory. So your screen will look like garbage when you first pull it up. So I went through all of the P modes and I set that mode, and I did a PCLS so all of my P modes were clear. Actually, I probably could have just done a P mode 4 clear and that would have cleared them all too. But I went through and I cleared them all. So this is the first chunk of the program that sets up the title screen for the program and then clears out all my graphics modes and all my graphics pages. So that is between line 5 and 70. So right now, if you wanted to type this in and follow along at home, pause this video and look at this chunk of data right here. I'll wait for you to pause. Boop. Unpause. Boop. We're back. Okay, so now let's look at the main loop of the program, which is from line 95 through 999, because the other things start on 1000. So I'm already running out of room. So list 100 through 199. How about that? Okay, just about. All right, so starting on line 100, this is the main loop of my program. So first thing I do is I pick I assign a random number to a variable called SM for screen mode, and I'm picking either 0 or 1. So I say pick a random number between 1 and 2 and subtract 1. So if I pick 1, I'll subtract 1, it will be 0. If I pick 2, I'll subtract 1, it will be 1. I do that for the screen mode and the screen color choice. We've got 2 color choices. Choice 0, which is low or dull colors, and choice 1, which is high and bright colors. Then I pick a random P mode. I say P mode 5 minus 1. That gives us random number between 0 and 4. Technically, I think there's a P mode 0, which is a black and white P mode, and then there's P mode 1, which is a low res color. There's P mode, so I think it's, I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember all the P modes. We haven't got to that chapter yet. I remember, so there's 0, 1, is there a 2? I don't know, whatever, who cares? So we're going to pick a PMODE between 0 and 4, because 4 is the highest. I don't even remember if there's a 0, but it hasn't crashed on me yet. So we're going to pick a random PMODE number. Then we're picking foreground colors. And the foreground colors, there's technically 9 colors, but one of the colors is 0. So I'm picking a random number between 1 and 9, and then I'm subtracting 1, and that becomes between 0 and 8. So that's my decisions for my foreground color and my background color. Then I go ahead and I set those foreground and background colors, and I do that within the main loop, so I don't have to do it each time I draw a line, because it's repetitive coding at that point. So I'm always setting the colors even when they're not being used, but it doesn't really matter. Now, line 130, I've lowered my decision threshold to 10 because it was taking too long for me to see what was happening. So I'm picking a random number between 1 and 10. Line 135, I forgot the fact that I needed to pick my X and Y coordinates for either pixels or lines. So I went ahead and picked a random number for X1, X2, Y1, Y2. Because our screen resolution is between 0 and 255 on the horizontal pixels, I said pick a random number between 1 and 256 and then subtract 1. Unfortunately, you can't have random start at 0. Random starts at 1, and so if I say X equals random 10, it'll pick a random number between 1 and 10. So if I want 0, or if I want less than 0, for one of my numbers, I'm going to have to subtract from those choices. So you kind of figure out your formula based on that. So I'm picking random coordinates, two X points and 2 Y points, so I can either plot 1 pixel or I can plot a line or box between 2 coordinates. Now I'm going to go to my decision. So GD is graphics decision. So I noticed that there were not enough pixels on the screen. That wasn't happening long enough, and since there's only 6 choices and we're picking a number between 1 and 10, I wanted pixels to happen more frequently. So before, it just used to say if my graphics decision is 1, then go sub 1000. But I now may put an OR statement in here. So if it equals 1, or it's greater than 6, because we're already picking 6 choices here. So if I pick 1, if I pick 7, 8, 9, or 10, which is basically 5 options, you got a 50% chance now of plotting a pixel on a screen, and they're so small, it's not going to eat up your screen. Then we're going to go sub routine 1000. If I pick 2, I'm going to go sub 2000, which will draw a box. If I pick 3, I'm going to go sub 3000, which is going to draw, a line. So 2000 draws a line, 3000 draws a box, 4000 draws a filled-in box, 5000 changes the P mode and sets the screen mode to match, 6000 changes the screen mode itself, so either the colors will change or I'll occasionally go back to text. So it'll go back and forth between the graphic screen and the title screen. This is the main loop. Line 200 just says go back to 100. So between 100 and 200, this is the main loop of my program that's picking all the random numbers and then picking a random decision and then going off to a routine to draw or produce one of 5 things that are going to affect what we see on the screen. So I've got 6 different subroutines. If we look at subroutine 1, there's 3 lines to this. The first line is just a remark that says what it's going to do. I'm going to PSET a random pixel, and the command is PSET. I'm picking X1, picking Y1, and then I'm using the foreground color that we chose randomly, which would be a number between 0 and 8. And then I go back to the loop, and the loop keeps looping. So if I pick 1 or 7, 8, 9, or 10, I'm going to go to this routine that's going to put on a pixel. So I've now increased the likelihood of pixels showing up on my screen. If I pick 2, this is the subroutine for 2. There's only really 1 line of code here. This just draws a straight line, and we're using the line command. So it's X1, Y1 through X2, Y2. So pick the 2 points, comma PSET, which just draws the line, return back to the loop, let the loop keep looping. Very simple, draw a straight line. If I do 3000 through 3999, this is the line to draw a box. Same command as the line command, but we do comma B. And so now instead of it being a straight line, now it's a box between those coordinates. Then we return. Line 4000 through 499, this is a BF for box fill. So same command, comma PSET. Now instead of comma B for box, it's comma BF for box fill. Cool, cool stuff right there. So that's one of my choices. Now option 5, if we pick a 5, is, I'm going to do 5,000. It can't list backwards apparently. If I choose option 5 now, I'm going to change the screen mode to one of the P modes. I'm always picking a random P mode every time I'm looping around. I might not actually set that P mode, but I'm just always picking it in the loop. So the numbers are always random. Whatever the P mode number I chose, which is a variable called PM, I'm doing that. I also added the command here to force the graphics screen over, because I found sometimes it may have been picking a P mode, but it was still displaying text, and I found that my text was on the screen too long. It wasn't as pretty, it wasn't as visual. I want to see graphics more often. So when we hit the number 5, if we spin the wheel and we land on lucky number 5, we're going to not only change the mode, but we're going to automatically switch to a graphic screen mode in the event we might have been on text. And so I went ahead and said screen 1, comma SC, screen color. If you remember, within this loop I'm always picking a random screen color too, either a 0 or a 1 for dull colors or bright colors. Option 5, the 5,000 routine returns, goes back to the main loop. We keep looping. My last option here, which is my 6,000. Okay, this one will actually change the screen mode. So if we actually choose the number 6 out of our 1 to 10 choices, then we're actually going to change the screen mode. What we change it to is going to depend on what random number was chosen in that loop that's constantly picking random numbers. So SM is a number of 0 or 1. 0 is text, 1 is graphics. SC is your 2 color choices, 0 for low bit colors, 1 for high bit colors or bright, so dull versus bright colors. And then we go back to the loop, and the loop keeps looping. So that's my entire program. And when we run the program, it draws the title screen, and then when are we going to see graphics for the first time? We're not even sure, because it's random, right? Until it actually hits a P mode command and a screen command, we won't see it. And so, but what we're seeing now is that the program is randomly putting pixels on the screen. Pixels are happening a lot more often now this time, but I'm also changing the P modes, which is the graphics mode. So it's going to switch between high resolution and low resolution graphics, which is this kind of a cool effect. You can see sometimes it's a filled box, sometimes it's an outline box. You can see some of the lines. It's just kind of cool. So it's completely random. It is graphical. It's very computerish. It's very 80s looking, and I like it. I hope you like it too. So this was our program. This was our exercise. This was applying all these concepts and making a program based on what we've learned so far. And that's what I hope people will get from this, is as we're learning this, or as they're relearning it, or just remembering how to do it, that you're not just going to type in what's in the book. You need to apply what you learned and come up with your own ideas and make your own little programs. And this is one such program that has applied the commands we've learned so far. We've learned how to set a pixel, we've learned how to draw a line, we've learned how to draw an empty box, we've learned how to draw a solid box. And that's why I also added the version numbers. This is version 1.0. So as we learn more graphics commands like the circle commands and the paint commands, we will add those to this graphics program, and we'll add more options, right? So right now our options are, we have 6 different options. We'll add option 7, we'll add option 8, we'll add more options. And as we do that, we will save it with a new version number. So the last one I saved is, I called this GDemo 1.0. So this is for graphics demo 1.0. I will also see if I can find a way to export this to my computer and copy and paste the code. I'm not sure if I can, but if I can, I'll do that, and I'll put it in the comments of this video so you can look at it as well. But hopefully you're able to follow that, because I kind of listed it out in chunks for you, and you should just be able to pause the video and look at that. So I hope this was fun, hope this was interesting. I hope this made some of these things make more sense, and hopefully it was even possibly entertaining just a little bit. All right, guys, keep on programming, but make sure you program responsibly. Okay, bye.